Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the briefing for Monday, the 12th of August. Okay, synoptic situation today is a bit weird. We rolled this back overnight. It was showing quite a lot of trough lines and instability around us. Uh, that's got away, but moving to midday, they're showing a cold front actually moving through, which wouldn't really be what you expect looking at the forecast today. It looks like a pretty much just a sunny day. I think this is actually a very weak feature, and it looks like any showers associated with this are going to be to the north. Continuing on to tonight, it's quite slow moving. It's going to be further out to the east, and uh, it looks like behind this cold front we'll get a little bit of soaring today, but before it, it's a very stable air mass, and we're not going to get a lot out of it. Spot winds are showing between about 240 and 290 at about 15-20 knots today. Starting off more from the south, basically, and going round to the west later on. Sat pick, yeah, you can kind of see maybe some showers and some cloud associated with that front. Otherwise, it's clear our side of it, and it looks like it should be reasonably clear after it, with maybe some cumulus and some showers developing. Yeah, rainfall, you can see that line quite clearly, more pronounced up to the north, and still shower activity in the south, but more gaps. And if we run through the forecast, it looks like we could catch a shower between about 12 and 2 o'clock, but it looks quite unlikely. It's showing us to be clear here, although we are quite near some of the showers. So we could get unlucky and have a shower come through, but it won't be for very long. Public forecast, they're not picking that up at all, showing sunny intervals all day with a top temperature of up to about 30 degrees. So it is going to be a scorcher. Starting off with the wind from the south-southeast. By the time we're out, it's going around to the south, more to the southwest. So we're going to start on 2-3. As the day goes on into the afternoon, it looks like the wind is then veering around to the west. So we may then go on to 2-7. You can see 4 p.m. it's showing west at 10, gusting up to 23, and it will be fairly windy. It looks like sort of early to mid-afternoon, so please be careful on that front. Temperatures, yeah, around 30 in our area. If you look over towards London, 32 degrees at 1 p.m. Rolling this forward, yeah, 33 degrees over that area, probably still max 30 in our area. Dew points, 17, 18 later on in the afternoon. You can see less to the west as this cold front goes through, leaving us with a better air mass, but it's going to be too late, I think, to give us a good air mass for long enough to get much out of it. That's a view outside 20 minutes ago. View outside now, see the wind's picked up a little bit. So just looking south-southeasterly at the moment. Hopefully that will go round quite promptly. Temperatures, dew points opening up quite quickly, already 23.5 degrees, dew points of just under 19. Odium's forecast, they're showing 8 knots from the east-southeast. Forecast, no cloud, they're not picking up any of that rain all day. Sorry, this is Farnborough, rather not Odium. Becoming, at some point up to midday, 10 knots from the south. Okay, top meteors, potential flight distance is as shown. Better up to the northwest. I suspect that sort of more inland areas, but also the areas that are going to be post-frontal for a bit longer today, i.e. further west. Our area not looking great. If people are going to go anywhere, it looks like it'll be to the north. We run through thermals, not really a lot. Very, very stable until about 1 p.m. where it starts to get going, perhaps to about 3,000 feet. And then early afternoon, still about 3,000 feet and most likely blue. Small chance of a little bit of cumulus, but this is looking pretty blue actually. Going through the afternoon, yeah, it's not looking great. It's very stable here. If we look at a site forecast, usable height to about 3,500 feet by early afternoon. Thermal strength about 2 knots, 1.5 knots most of the day. It's not going to be brilliant. Sky then, potential flight distance, also not particularly optimistic, but they are showing a better area up to the northwest. If you can somehow scratch away and get up there, I think that'll be quite a lot more fun. The point forecast for Lasham. Storable height, not until about midday. It's getting up to about 2,000 feet, and then mid-afternoon up to 3,000 feet, but not for very long. But they're showing a slim chance of some cumulus around about 2:30 to 3:30. Otherwise, most likely blue. Thermal strength about 2 to 3 knots, 3.5 knots in the afternoon. So they're a little bit more optimistic than Top Meteo. Just for reference, we'll look up in this better area here. Go right in the middle of this good area, which does happen to be in the Birmingham airspace. As you can see, it's getting going earlier, soarable to about 3,000 feet by about 11 o'clock, and then possibly some cumulus and climbs up to about 3.5, 4,000 feet with thermal strength about 4 to 4.5 knots. So noticeably better up there if you can get up that way, although I don't think many people will today. NOTAMs, the only one going in that direction that I can really see is the Tall Rissington ATZ is active. Otherwise, nothing to worry about. Okay, so setup, as I mentioned, we're going to start on 2-3, launch point in the normal position. Winch cables will probably be offset, something like this to begin with, as it's going to be more south. Winch launching off the grass here, aero towing off the grass on the other side. After a while, we'll probably move the winch round in line with 2-3 as the wind starts to go more west. And then at some point later on, we'll probably change to 2-7. So that will be, again, a standard setup. We may start with the winch slightly offset to the south if there's still southerly in the wind, or we might just have it straight down the run with the winch launching on the grass as normal and the aero towing from the northern edge of the runway as normal. I've painted on here 2 red areas, and that is the cross runway south of the main runway. Everything to the north of the main runway is fine. Please do not land on these areas, and instructors, please take over as required to avoid landing or even rolling over these areas. We've been going through a lot of tyres on the club gliders, so please treat these as an emergency only option. It's a pretty big airfield, you shouldn't need to use them, but they are there if you absolutely need to. Club gliders, we've got 5 K21s today, 2 K13s, 2 baby grobs, and all 3 discuses. I've had a couple of messages through. There could be a King Air test between 12 and 1:30, so departure at 12 and arrival at 1:30, and then another departure at 2:30. That's unconfirmed. It hasn't been said properly, but I did see some flight plans come through. Reminder, when we're on 2-3, all landings are to 2-3 unless specifically agreed before takeoff for training purposes. Unless there's some sort of safety reasons dictating otherwise, all landings onto 2-3, please. I appreciate people's trailers are more convenient to get to on 2-7, but that's not how we do it. As I mentioned, no landing on the hard cross runways south of the main runway, and the simulator's serviceable if anyone would like it. All right, I'll see you out there. Bye for now.